Hi everybody, Shannon and Karen with Wandering Out Yonder. This morning, it's pretty early, I guess about 7 o'clock or so. Beautiful, beautiful morning. Shannon and I thought we'd get out and go for a walk. And as we were walking, we noticed this really cool trail. We thought, okay, we're gonna go check that out. This is called the Furnace, Head Race, and Slag Heap. I'm going to say trail. It doesn't say that, but that's what you get some historical information about what happened in this area in regards to the furnace. And from what I understand, we're going to see a giant slag heap, and it gives information on the race that is here, which is actually a channel of water that was used to power the furnace at one point in time, and also a sawmill that was once here. So anyhow, it's an interpretive trail, we noticed. If you look back behind us, Shannon, you want to point? Right there. It's an interpretive trail, and there are some papers in there that give you some information that are numbered, so you'll know what it is you're looking at. So anyhow, we're kind of excited to see it. We're going to share it with you. All right, so Shannon's going to pull out one of the brochures for us. All right. Oh, it's got a little map. All right, so here we are.
Well, it looks like right here is where we're going to be.
Yeah, we are right up there, right there.
Yep.
All right. So basically what this is showing you is the trail as it goes through. This is the race, or the water channel that I was just talking about right here. I think that's Mountain Creek. Anyhow, we're going to be showing you step by step. According to this, it's numbered, so it tells you. Like, I think we're at stop 1 right now, which is right here. And down below it says the race. You can see the water.
Well, and this is thanks to Friends of Pine Grove Furnace State Park.
Right. All right, so this is stop number 1, and again, like I said, this is part of the race. You can see it's pretty well grown in right now. That was a channel built to power the one-time furnace and sawmill that used to be here.
Today, there is no evidence of a stone and timber dam across Mountain Creek to store the water in a mill pond.
So we're going to continue on through the woods here and check out stop number 2 once we get there. Yeah, look how overgrown all of this is. Where are the berries up there? You see the berries?
This is that Japanese...
Is it?
Yep.
Ah,
Japanese
the
barberry.
evil stuff. Yeah, all right. Number 2. And it says go to the left here. So this is number 2. It's pretty out this morning though. All right. You can see the water flowing through here. And this barberry that's taken over the forest through here, boy, it's a lot of it. But anyhow, here is the race. All right, so again, this is a part of the race that's down here that I just showed you. And this was an area that was dug out to divert the water, because at one point in time, they no longer utilized water to power the furnace or the mill. They had gone to using, I believe, a steam engine. So they no longer needed to do have this race or this ditch area dug out to divert the water towards that area. So that's what this is that we're looking at right now. So again, this is stop number 2. And again, like I said, you can see the water flowing down here. I imagine during the dry season, there's probably no water at all through here. But we've had so much rain lately that's probably why you're seeing a lot of water flowing. All right, so we're going to turn back around and head further down the trail at stop number 3. Go to our left here. Okay, in these areas around these furnaces, you'll find slag. And this right here is some of the slag, as you can see. It's actually, some of the pieces are really pretty. All right. All right, so the number 3 is pointing us to the right, so we're going to head right. And you can see they've done a good job here. labeling this trail as far as numerically, that you can figure it out pretty easily. And it's an easy little trail. All right. So we are at stop number 3. All right, so this stop number 3 that you can see in front of you here, this is about an 8-foot deep bed of slag. And you can see it, I didn't notice it, Shannon pointed it out.
Perimeter here.
All around the perimeter, you can see the slag.
Here you can really tell that you're up.
Yeah, you're really up.
And then here, yeah, some of it's poking through.
Yeah, so that's what you're standing on. All right, and according to this, number 3, there seems to be a narrow path down from the platform to your left, south, apparently where slag was transported away, perhaps in hand carts, or there may have been a conveyor belt of some kind. This platform probably supported an extension of the railroad from the furnace west past Bendersville Road for the specific purpose of moving slag. All right, so this is the trail. Yeah, down there. You can see it's overgrown. And it's kind of dips down in, so that, and then if you look on here, there's a map here that says A, B, C. We are right here where A is. Shannon, you want to point out A? Yeah, that's where we're at, and that's where the old railroad used to be. So there you go. So possibly they were loading this up and hauling it away. That's what is being suggested here. So we're going to head down this way. We turned around, and then this little trail is right off to the right from where we were at. And I'm assuming we are going to stop at site number 4, because this looks like a pretty clear path to something. So here we go. And it's a cushy little trail. Lots of pine needles. And you can see the slag scattered all over the trail. You see it out in the grass? It's everywhere. Oh, I was right. Number 4. Here we are. But yeah, wow. Look at it all. All right, then around the corner here, number 4. This is a giant piece of slag that just kind of solidified and was left here. And I guess if you didn't know what it was, what this was, you would think it was probably just a giant boulder, but it's not. And you can kind of see in the rock formation or the slag formation, the chunks of slag. So that's what this is. But it's all over the place out here, all over the ground. You can see it. All right, so Shannon brought up a good point. Not everybody knows what slag is.
I wasn't 100% certain what it is that we were looking at.
So. Well, in our side of the country, and especially where we live, you see a lot of these iron ore furnaces. You see a lot of the coal production areas from the 1800s and I think late 1700s. Anyhow, so we thought we'd tell you what slag is. Well, slag is basically a waste product of the iron ore furnace.
All right, so I'm gonna have to cheat a little bit because it's a lot of information here. But it says that basically it's a man-made volcanic rock. Here again, the flyer, nice and helpful. It says, what is slag? Slag, also called cinder, is an unavoidable byproduct of smelting iron ore. There you go.
All right.
So the key products found at the top of the blast furnace were iron ore, carbon fuel, mostly charcoal, but after 1877, sometimes coal, and limestone as a flux for chemical reactions.
All right. What they use some of this for, and evidently not all of it, because it's all over the place. And this is not the only part of Pennsylvania that you see this in, and you will also see it down in Maryland. But anyhow, according to the history information that we have on this pamphlet, or this interpretive tour that we're doing, is that some of the slag from this particular furnace was used for road fill, for wagon roads across the mountain, and also for ballast between railroad ties of the South Mountain Railroad. So they did utilize some of it, but I guess there was so much of it, there's no way they could have used it all. But anyhow, I'm going to share the rest with you.
So this is one of those instances where things like this are really helpful. Karen and I don't know everything.
Nope.
But we sure do like to learn about things,
Right.
and we like to share it with you guys. So things like this sometimes are necessary and very helpful. So thank you again, Friends of Pine Grove Furnace State Park.
Yep.
This is helpful.
Right. All right, so we have reached stop number 5 on the interpretive trail. And this says, from this location, Mountain Creek is visible 10 feet below. I'm guessing that's what we're hearing over here is Mountain Creek. Yes. That's exactly. Oh, that's pretty, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, on
Beautiful.
Like a slag bank
Yeah,
here.
you can see that it's all over the place out here. I mean, it's all over the place, the slag. But what a pretty area. Look at the trees uprooted out there. Beautiful. Wow. So basically what this area is about are these piles of slag that were left here. And that basically created a bank along the Mountain Creek here on this side. And I'm going to guess all the way up through there. And then you can see the big giant chunks of it all throughout this path. So we're going to head this way. To stop number 6. And here we are. And it says to go left here. Here we go. So we basically climbed up this big giant slag heap, and I think it was what was facing or to the left of us as we were coming up this trail. All right, see how high up we are now? That's the creek that we were just looking at. We're continuing to go up. All right. Wow, look at it all around you. Huh. And that's how high up you are. All right, so that brought us to the highest point or highest slag heap, which we were standing on. And like I said, that's the creek, that's Mountain Creek down there. So you can see how high up we are as compared to where we were at stop number 5 down below. It's a pretty big pile. From what I understand, it continues on. It's not this high, but it does continue on. So these are probably up in a lot of the state parks that had the old furnaces. They've just been buried under plants and so forth.
Right. So for me, this is kind of one of those instances where sometimes I think people forget why a state park is a state park. It's not all about just camping or swimming or fishing. There's history. There's a lot of history in these areas, and this is evident of that. And it's really kind of hidden back. Unless you're looking for it, you may not know it's here. This to me is very interesting to learn the history, more about the history of the area and why we're seeing what we're seeing.
Yep. Okay, so I guess for us, it's something that we've kind of learned along the way. We started visiting state parks years ago, not realizing just how much history was in the state park.
Right, we were there for camping and everything that I just mentioned.
Right, and most state parks, and especially here in Pine Grove Furnace State Park, they have interpretive trails and a lot of history.
A lot of history in
So
such a small
you
park.
can come out of your campsite,
Yeah.
go for a little walk. Here they have been putting some trails in to make it nice and convenient for people who are camping to make it over to some of the historical areas, which I think is super cool.
Right.
And you get yourself in the woods, and it's beautiful. So yeah, I think that's worth mentioning, that if you're visiting one of your local state parks anywhere in the country, find out what the history is behind it. Find out what kind of little trails they have, and get out and get on them.
Find out why they decided that was going to be a state park. There's a reason, and it's usually very interesting.
All right, so anyhow, we wanted just to show you, like you know, we said this is kind of a waste product, and you can find the slag in various different colors. I mean, and they represent different types of, I guess, chemical ingredients.
It's interesting.
Yeah. But you can see it's just all over the place out here.
But I love how they described it as the man-made volcanic
rock. Yeah, that's what they called it. And you know, we're standing on a giant heap of this stuff. It's kind of cool.
Down below there were some of the really cool, real pretty blue ones. All right, so there's different colors of the slag, and this says at Pine Grove Furnace it has several colors depending on the changing conditions inside the furnace where it was formed, as well as minor impurities. So the bright blue slag, for example, has a high level of manganese and some local iron ores. So it just depends on what they use, what the waste was in the bottom of the furnace. Interesting.
Yep. All right, so close by there is another historical site that you can see the slag, and that is where there was once a POW camp during World War II. I believe prior to that,
if memory serves me correct, it was the CCC that built the camp, and the fountain that is in the center of the camp has, they decorated with the blue slag right into the stonework of the fountain.
And it's actually really, really pretty.
It is.
I think we might have a picture of it we can share with you.
Yeah, I'll try to find a picture to include in here.
And this is a fountain, the remnants of the fountain that are left, which it's still quite a bit intact. And you can see back behind there are some foundation pieces maybe to a building in a couple different areas back here. But here's the fountain. And in the rocks of the fountain are pieces of slag glass, if you can see it. Pretty cool. So the original CCC builders of the fountain used the waste product of the iron ore, which is the slag. You see the blue kind of slag, and quartz to decorate the fountain. So that's what you're looking at, which I think is pretty cool. That's out here in Michaud State Forest, out in Pine Grove Furnace area. Again, tons of historical stuff out here if you guys want to get outside and get in the woods and learn some stuff. All right, so just to mention to you, Shannon and I have done a video on the POW camp.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, we'll link it below. Best time to go there is when it's not all grown up like this, so you can really see things. But it's a pretty cool area, and I knew that they do tours there, like historical tours and stuff, if you wanted to join something like that. They also do historical tours here too, here at Pine Grove Furnace State Park. So there's lots to do, and this is all volunteer. These guys are fantastic, full of knowledge, and are more than happy to share it with you. So anyhow, I thought I would mention that to you. So I know you guys have heard Shannon and I talk about how winter is our favorite time to hike, and it's not just because of the weather and there's no bugs and less people.
Yeah.
It's because you can see so much, especially in historical areas like this. You will see the remnants of maybe an old farm, or a fireplace that's still standing from an old farm. Foundations. Or you'll see daffodils planted. Well, if there's daffodils planted out in the forest, that means somebody once probably lived there. So that's what we kind of find interesting. And one of the reasons that we like hiking in the winter. And I would imagine, especially in an area like this, you would probably see a whole lot more without all the green going on,
Right.
which, you know, we all love the green and everything. I'm not knocking the green. I'm just saying it's, get out in the wintertime too. Sometimes it's really cool to get out in the forest to see. Maybe you'll find some history for yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So again, this is a perfect example of that blue slag that we were talking to you guys about.
That's definitely kind of like the color that's in the fountain. So, what a creative way to reuse trash.
Again, another example of it. It's actually really pretty.
Yeah, and it's even different color blues.
All right, so we are at the end of the trail. That was kind of cool, interesting, and great way to spend the morning. Stretched our legs, learned something, which we always like. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us today as we went wandering out yonder here in Pine Grove Fern State Park. Like I said, we were out for our morning walk. Saw this trail off to the left. It's just past the Iron Master's mansion. We were like, we're going to check that out. We saw that there were some brochures here and a number on the post, which meant interpretive trail.
Yeah, and thanks to the Friends of Pine Grove Fern State Park for showcasing yet more of the park's history. We're loving it.
Yep. All right. So anyhow, guys, thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you later. Bye.